now in downtown LA. There you see a white vehicle going through city streets in downtown LA.
This is a silver Camry going through downtown LA, and it's going at a pretty fast speed there, swerving in and out of traffic. And the cops are on its tail, and you can see choppers above following this guy. We don't know what's kicked off this pursuit, but this driver is driving pretty erratically right now, running red lights.
Running red lights.
Oh, as you can see right there in that intersection, making a right turn there.
5:20 right now, so we're looking at the busy time of the rush hour commute now, just the start of the rush hour commute in a very congested area of the city. There you can see under an overpass there, and driving on the wrong side of the road. And there he goes again. All the cars stopped and driving on the wrong side. There was a pedestrian there too, running out of the crosswalk as he makes a left there.
Oh, this is dangerous. He is on the wrong side of the road, flying by these cars. This car is headed, is he still headed westbound at this time? He just turned, so he's headed south now.
Really interesting here. The Hollenbeck Division now on this, LAPD Hollenbeck Division pursuing this, and they're going into a tracking mode. What they're concerned about at this point is the vehicle is going at a very high rate of speed. So if they start, whoa, look at that, right between two cars. But they're doing this this is very, very dangerous. A tracking mode. They're concerned that if they continue to try and pursue this vehicle, that he will go even faster. So they're in a tracking mode right now. They obviously have, usually in this situation, they'll have an airship in the air. At this point, it only looks like we have one individual in this car, but potentially, if we learn that there's more, we'll let you know. There he is as he drives erratically.
Right now, with police in surveillance mode, we don't know if anyone's waiting up ahead or where this guy is headed or what even tipped off this pursuit, but he is in a rush and he is not slowing down for anything. This is creating quite a hazard for other drivers on the road. And as you can imagine, as Bobby said earlier, really busy time right now in downtown LA. You got that huge freeway interchange there with many people trying to get home tonight. This guy is creating quite a hazard.
There he goes, weaving through traffic, and once again
in the wrong lane.
In the wrong lane.
Headed the wrong way. This is he is headed southbound on Alameda right now, and you can see the train tracks right there to the left of this car.
All of the cars there stopped at the light, and he goes right through the intersection. Again, Hollenbeck Division tracking this. We believe right now he is going westbound on Alameda, and LAPD officers, you don't see any cruisers there, any police, whoa, and he just skins some of those cars, going in this tracking mode as they continue to watch him because they are afraid that this vehicle, as you can see, already going at a very high rate of speed. We have seen him go on the wrong side of the road, and then also someone crossing a crosswalk there and running to get out of his way.
He is headed southbound on Alameda. He's approaching Vernon. He may have passed it. He's going so fast. You can see him weaving in and out of cars, and that's really the danger here because he has no regard for drivers he's sharing the road with. Driving on the wrong side of the road, headed in the wrong direction right now, still headed south, headed towards Slauson Avenue. Once again, this chase in downtown LA. Police are following this vehicle, but they are in surveillance mode as far as we know right now, meaning you can't see them hot on his trail here, if you will. They're a bit behind him, and it's probably a good thing for other drivers because this guy is flying down these side streets here in downtown LA, driving on the wrong side, not stopping at red lights. It's still on Alameda, headed south, making a left there into the wrong, going against traffic here.
And they moved out the way, too. Look at this. And just pushing his way through on the center median again. I'll get you a street, but again, working his way well into solid in the downtown area. We're going to be getting into the Huntington Park area, I can tell you that. Now we're working our way eastbound. He's kind of heading towards the 710. Major freeways, not in this area. Not at all right now. The only thing he's got right now are going to be surface streets, major surface streets, and going through Santa Fe. And again, excuse me, just driving these crazy speeds, pushing his way through these areas, definitely in tracking mode. I'm listening to LAPD in one ear, and they're telling their officers, back off. They have backed off. and we were on Slauson. Now we're on Pacific, southbound Pacific Avenue. This is going to be one of those major arteries through Huntington Park, the Huntington Park area. This is the area where it's kind of like the old downtown, where there's a lot of pedestrians out here. Look at, you can see this driver. Look at this guy making a left turn. Whoa! Right there, right there. That's called a traffic collision. He hit that car,
and still didn't. And it is
still going.
Well, you know, that was inevitable, though, Sue. The way that guy was driving, we just knew that something like that was going to happen, and hopefully they can.
Whoa!
Get tagged there.
Yeah, this guy's
hit another
definitely
car?
running out. No, he didn't. Got really close. He swerved. The car kind of, his car a little bit went sideways. Looks like we're getting into a residential neighborhood right now. Speed slowing down quite a bit. People backing up. Again, his speed's slowed down. I'm trying to do a couple things right now. I'm looking out the window. I want to see if LAPD is even in the neighborhood right now. I don't want to get away from this car. The helicopter overhead calling it out. But again, a passing gauge right there. That was a major. And it's continuing southbound residential neighborhood. He's already been in one major, I would call that a major collision, as he hit that truck head on pretty much. Front end damage to the vehicle, but it seems like all 4 tires are still solid. And continuing southbound. Look at that skateboarder right there. Again on the wrong side of the road. You know, this is very dangerous. Oh, there we go. Oh, there, and he's trying to continue.
Well, you know what?
You've got to worry about that guy in that car.
We can't even possibly just determine the charges that are being racked up against this guy. I mean, first of all, the 6 months for fleeing police, but now he's got several reckless and maybe even assault with a weapon being his vehicle, seeing how he just purposely ran into those 2 cars.
Didn't run, no doubt. Stu, this is some of the craziest driving that we've seen.
There's a person he almost hit.
Yeah, some of the craziest driving we've seen. And was the original call, did you say it was simply a stolen vehicle?
Yes, originally that's what we were hearing, was stolen vehicle. Wow. That's what this guy is wanted for. And again, you know, that second collision that we just saw right there, that was head on. That other vehicle sustaining a lot of damage right there. Amazing that this car's still even on the road driving. Again, you know, the LAPD definitely calling for an ambulance for that other driver. We're keeping an eye on this guy for sure. Look at this, though, twisting through these streets out here in the center lane, still moving 45 miles an hour plus 50 in traffic. LAPD helicopter still overhead calling this pursuit, working our way on a major again, southbound. That was Florence we were on. Getting a little bit more of a picture of the damage to that vehicle. It does seem like it got hit right on the side there, but it doesn't seem that bad. Amazing. But again, this guy's still going. And again, people on the roads out here, pedestrians, and it's just amazing that, you know, I mean, it isn't anymore. We have seen 2 crashes. Amazing nobody's been majorly injured. Again, using lanes that he's not supposed to, trying to pass. And again, just keeping up this bad driving, dangerous driving, excuse me. And again, LAPD not in pursuit. Not in pursuit. They're just following this guy.
Well, this is the point in time where you'd like to see a foot bail, you know, because no one else gets injured.
Well, it possibly could. I mean, he's on. Is he slowing down, Stu? I thought he was. Well, there's a vehicle in front of him.
Right there.
These are close residential
was because he had no place to go.
Streets. And he's driving fast through a residential area. This guy is a menace. He's a menace
very fast through a residential area. Sorry about that. We had to do a little.
For anyone else on the road, and cops need to get a hold of him. But we all know how these things typically end.
Here he goes, another intersection here.
And yet he's still going.
So at last report, we know that he was in Southgate on 8th from Florence. And again, really difficult to track him right now because he's just weaving and going on just random streets. Blowing all the red lights, driving at really high rate of speed, already hit 2 cars. You can see that speed limit was 35 there. He's going a lot faster than that in the headed the wrong way. 25 right there. South on State coming up to Broadway, and now it's he's eastbound going south on California now, making another turn and east.
This guy just waved to the helicopter above, but you can't see any police close by. They are still in tracking mode, and that's because it's hard to tell what this guy's going to do.
Yeah.
They're not sure where to track him to. This is a residential area here, still in Southgate, I believe, as we pull out
as he
further.
comes to
another intersection where he makes another right turn. You can see his car is pretty banged up from the traffic collision he had with another sedan that T-bowed him.
Two traffic collision now coming up on some railroad tracks here. We understand that he is now south on Otis from Liberty, again going through yet another intersection. He seems to know that although there are no police cars, police cruisers on his tail, he seems to know that he is being watched, that there's a helicopter in the air.
They got a few helicopters in the air following him.
At that helicopter. So again, typically officers might know where he might be going next, or they may put down some spike strips to try and slow or stop the vehicle, but he has been going on so many random streets, traveling at a high rate of speed, just going down, making lefts, rights, you name it, just trying to figure out a way to escape.
Bobby, we see these chases all the time, but wouldn't you say this is some of the craziest driving we've seen by a suspect in pursuit?
Another solid red. You know, in this pursuit, we started up in the Rampart area. Look at this. Whoa, boom! There we go. Oh, there we go. And he's trying to continue. There is no way this car is going to keep going very much farther. That he just hit that Toyota 4Runner. Again, Alexander, he's on a street called Alexander Southgate, like you said. Part of the answer that you needed to hear is that we have gone through so many different other cities that LAPD is not part of, so they are not really in the area. This car really starting to smoke out there. Does appear that he threw something out the window. Not sure what it was right there. Again, though, that car definitely smoking right now. It seems like something's coming off the passenger side of it, but he's really starting to come to an end. LAPD actually saying right now we need to bring this to an end. Coming to another intersection right here. This car coming apart. He's running through another intersection right there, barely missing some other vehicles. But again, this has got to come to an end soon, as this car cannot keep this up. We're coming up on another major out here, Imperial Highway. He's on the brakes right now, going into oncoming traffic again. Look at this front end. Look at this car. Unbelievable. Again, you know, wrong side of the road with an island. He's got no place to go right now, and basically just moving as fast as he can right here, going just and again, just trying to stay ahead. I do see an officer behind him right now. I don't know if that's an LAPD or possibly a sheriff's department. Oh, look at another full intersection. Just got through that one. Again, LAPD or that sheriff's department. Oh, look at this. Right across the center median, took out a sign. Again, this car's still kind of going. I can't believe this. Again, eastbound Imperial. We're coming up on the 710 now, going over the 710. And again, just trying to keep away. Unclear what this guy's plan could possibly be this afternoon. I'm trying to get a look at the vehicles that are behind him. I don't know if those are LAPD or sheriffs, but definite law enforcement behind him. Could have picked those guys up in Southgate. Again, right now, center divider. I believe this is Imperial right now. I believe this is Imperial. We were eastbound Imperial. And again, look at this, wrong side of the road. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Took two cars out. He's out. He's trying to run. Oh, he's trying to carjack somebody, and it looks like he has a weapon. He does. He's got a weapon. He's trying to carjack somebody, pulling a woman out of the car, taking another vehicle. Again, Stay out of the way. They're telling everybody, stay out of the way. Officers out there, these are LAPD, again, southbound. We clearly saw this guy with a weapon. I have never seen something like this before. Unbelievable. He's got a new car. I believe this is going to be some sort of Volkswagen. Again, just carjacked that vehicle. Saw it live on television. Amazing. I'm so thankful nobody was injured in that, especially that driver. It seemed to be a woman. This guy definitely trying to get away from officers. I will get you across street, but this changes the game entirely. Oh. Pat, you are so correct about that. We're just assuming that there was nobody else in that vehicle. Again, you'd hope that a mother would not allow that to happen. You know the motherly instinct. But again, right now, all we know is that he did carjack this vehicle. Clearly saw a weapon in this guy's hand. They are talking about exactly what you had mentioned. They are talking about going back and talking to that victim to make sure that there is nobody else in that vehicle. LAPD definitely still there right behind this vehicle right now, changing the entire prospects of what we saw. This guy desperate, armed, and definitely trying to get away. Extremely dangerous situation. Yes. Yes, they are. They are being a little bit more aggressive. It looks like we're approaching or entering the 105 freeway, right by the 710. We see the vehicle getting onto the freeway right now. LAPD definitely behind this vehicle right now. And again, looks like we're going to be taking the northbound 710. I just read that sign. Again, the LAPD right now not really calling out the streets anymore. Their tactics are totally changing. They're getting their units in position. They're talking about notifying other agencies. This guy is armed and willing to use that weapon. Again, we're looking like we're going to be entering the northbound 710. A lot of traffic out here on this transition road. There is an emergency lane, which he's probably going to try to use. A lot of traffic out here this afternoon. Again, looks like we're entering northbound 710 freeway. We have at least 4 units from the LAPD right now, very, very close behind. They are definitely not going to allow that kind of danger to the public to happen again if this vehicle does come to a stop. So a very dangerous situation this afternoon. Most definitely. And it looks like he's kind of stuck here on this emergency lane. It may push him off onto the Imperial off-ramp. That's going to be the next one that's coming up right now. Again, though, just keeping up these freeway speeds, passing vehicles that are not driving freeway speeds at all. Again, though, this car carjacked. If anybody's just joining us, carjacked with a weapon after they totaled that car that he had hit at least 3 other people with this afternoon. Look at the officers backing out of the way, letting this guy go. But again, they're just doing that so that they can let this guy make his move, not try to block him in. But you can see all these LAPD units right now in the Southgate area, so you know these units were following when this was going on. Toyota Camry. Well, you know, I can tell you, I definitely saw something that looks like a gun. I know in this litigious world that we live in, we can't say has a weapon or that was a gun. Definitely looked like a gun in his hand. And the driver of that vehicle obviously thought it was a gun also as she got out of that vehicle and allowed him to take it. The original vehicle he was in was described as a Toyota Camry. This one looks to be more like a Volkswagen, a larger Volkswagen, but again, unconfirmed at this time. That he seems to be staying northbound right right now on the 710, well established. He does seem to be clipping other vehicles, pushing other vehicles out of the way. I'm not sure if this is some sort of plan that this guy has, but again, he seems to be cutting other vehicles off almost intentionally. Again, LAPD definitely following this guy right now as his pursuit's continuing northbound now on the 710 freeway as we're getting into the Cudahy area right now. Again, though, this guy carjacked the vehicle. You could, I don't know if other viewers picked up that same thing, but you could feel the desperation, or you saw it in his movements, in his attitude when he got out of that car. He tried to carjack one car, then he came up to this one and actually was able to do it. Again, that woman probably doing the right thing by giving up that vehicle, but again, we saw, or what looked like, a gun in this guy's hand very clearly. Officers from the LAPD saw that as well. Again, this is a pursuit, but with that type of weapon and that type of attitude that he's displayed, this is something entirely different right now. As LAPD is chasing this guy, they want to bring this to an end. They don't want any public hurt. Obviously, they don't want to hurt any of them, any other officers. But again, right now, moving kind of slower, but LAPD definitely in pursuit. They're going to follow this guy. They're going to bring this to an end one way or another. Okay. Right now you can see LAPD in number right there behind him. Now these are all the officers that have basically got picked up along the way that were following as he passed through their divisions and etc. Again though, they were, in trail. They were basically trying to stay nearby if this came to some sort of ending so that they could set up a quick perimeter to basically block this guy in. Right now though, that is all changed. They are basically re-engaged in pursuit of this vehicle. You can see that one SUV type of that Ford Explorer. Those are the newer vehicles that the LAPD picked up. They're a little bit heavier. Unsure if this officer is pit maneuver qualified, but again, you're right. The speeds have kind of normalized, if you can even say that about this this situation that's been going on. We can see that vehicle definitely has some damage on it right now, probably from bumping into other vehicles. We saw him clipping other vehicles earlier on. Again, northbound on the 710, amazingly light traffic this afternoon as we're getting up into the Maywood area right now, and we'll be approaching the 5 freeway. There is some traffic coming up, I can tell you that. Unsure what he's going to do, but you can see LAPD definitely still behind him. This is definitely a very dangerous pursuit. Oh. Oh. Looks like he's taking the 10. Well, we are 7:10. It looks like we're going to be transitioning on the westbound 10 right now. You can see him still weaving in and out of traffic out here. And again, too, you know, the victims that were involved in those crashes, especially that second one, I mean, the last one where he got out of the vehicle, you just got to wonder about them. We are hopeful that they are not badly injured. Obviously, they've got to have some sort of injuries with those type of impacts. This guy, apparently, though, very much, you know, maybe it's adrenaline, who knows, but he seems to be very determined to keep this going. Again, right now, we are westbound on the 10 freeway, and we are in the East LA area. LAPD very much in pursuit. The helicopter's still lighting him up. They have backed off a little bit, probably because they are unable to make those type of dangerous maneuvers to keep up with this guy as he's working his way along the freeway out here. He has an opportunity right now to use an off-ramp. He's using that gore point. Looks like we are going to be taking an off-ramp right here, or possibly getting onto another freeway. I'll get you an update here just in a second. But again, and it looks like we might be doing something here with the 60 freeway as we understand it. But again, he has an opportunity for east or west right here. Again, though, very high speeds, very dangerous maneuvers. You know, again, it is definitely a pursuit, definitely public in danger. But again, this guy with that possible weapon, we saw that carjacking, very aggressive attitude. It's going to be an entirely different ending when LAPD finally get this guy cornered with that. Was after seeing what we saw this afternoon. Again, you know, 3 people we saw involved in traffic collisions with this with the original vehicle with this suspect. Again, you know, those we're hoping that they're okay. Right now, though, we can see that his driving, if anything, we can say is normalized. If you're watching this or just joining us, this is normalized driving. Again, center island, center, look at that, look, getting a little squirrely there as he's trying to get off on Atlantic. We've seen that that rear end kick out a couple times on this car. Again, you know, looks like he's forced right now to stay on the Atlantic off ramp unless he pushes his way through there. LAPD definitely talking to the Sheriff's Department. East LA is the area that we're going to be getting off on. And again, you can see LAPD definitely still in pursuit, getting a little bit wider. I don't know what's at the end of that off-ramp, but I can tell you a lot of traffic, so he's going to be doing some crazy maneuvers again. This vehicle carjacked. We watched this guy carjack this car from a woman, pulling her out of the vehicle and taking this vehicle by force with a weapon, or what we believe to be a weapon, squeezing his way through a bunch of cars right there and possibly bumping into them. And it looks like we're going to be going eastbound on Atlantic, established in the East LA area. Again, though, LAPD definitely in pursuit. Looks like we're just going to be getting back on the freeway. Maybe too much traffic for him. But again, this pursuit's got to come to an end. LAPD definitely been following this guy. Crazy earlier on. Like you said earlier, I personally have never seen a pursuit as crazy as this, with as many accidents and harm to the public, and then that carjacking just was appalling. And again, you can see this guy continuing on back on the 60 freeway. And again, it looks like he's going to have to get off the freeway again, just basically taking every opportunity he can, letting traffic create his route. LAPD definitely in pursuit. They want to bring this to an end. Again, he's wedged in there. Here he goes again. This is, again, same type of technique. Basically running, came up to him. It looks like an SUV, a Lexus SUV. He's got, officers are in pursuit right now. This guy getting, other people trying to get away from him. Again, Jason, you got to move around. You got to move. Ah, okay. It looks like he is down. The suspect is down. Again,
This is just below the Pomona Freeway. Just tried to carjack somebody.
Okay.
He's on the ground right now. He may have been tased. We're going to go real tight on the suspect.
He may have been shot or tased.
Yeah, he's on the ground right now.
Very careful here.
Law enforcement officers are right on top of this guy. We're going to come around that tree right now. They got their guns on.
Unsure what exactly transpired there. Again, suspect is down. Officers from the LAPD making their move right now, trying to get this guy into custody. You can see this has finally come to an end. Right off the 60 freeway, we'll get you an off-ramp here and a supervisor to come out to the situation at the end here. We believe that we're in the city of Montebello. This is on Vio Campo, and it's the name of the street that we're on right there. And it's very close to Garfield. Again, they're calling for an ambulance right now. And again, they believe that there were shots fired at the end, or as we understand it, it's going to be shots fired call. And we do know the suspect is down. We don't see any officers injured at this time. But again, this is going to be a lengthy investigation for the officers of the LAPD. And again, we do know they did call for an ambulance for that suspect who is cuffed right now and on the ground. Officers around him offering or doing first aid or what they can.
Here out of South Suburban, we're in the area of Country Club Hills heading down to Matson. We've got a high-speed pursuit here. The person that they're looking for here in this black Chevy, a stolen vehicle with a window shot out. They've been pursuing this vehicle now for the better part of about 15 minutes. Southbound in the cornfield here, right by Harlem Avenue, heading towards US 30. This pursuit's gone about 40-50 miles per hour. Several officers are joining in here, so we're about a mile west of I-57. This vehicle is heading southbound. These are side streets, people, with about 20 to 30 mile an hour. Now we're going south on Ridgeland here. And this is a pursuit. They'll be heading towards US 30. So if you are a south suburban commuter, you normally head near US 30 in Ridgeland, use a lot of caution. This vehicle is picking up speed here. That window is shot out. They're looking for a suspect who stole a vehicle and now heading southbound on Ridgeland Avenue, south US 30.
Okay, Mike.
So, Kai, this is going to keep going.
Mike, we're here. We're watching this with you right now. And so what we're wondering is, when did you first pick this up? What was happening?
Well, the Illinois State Police have a network where they put out basically where they're looking for vehicles that are on the go. Now, about 15 minutes ago, you saw us that accident at Volmer Road. We picked up that they were looking for this vehicle. The Chicago district of the state police found this vehicle, and we picked it up a few minutes later. Now it's traveling about 60-70 miles per hour southbound on Ridgeland Avenue. It left US 30 a few minutes ago. There were about 5 officers in high-speed pursuit about to hit the intersection of Sauk Trail, and this could get dangerous, narrowly missing an accident there. The vehicle keeps going southbound on Ridgeland. Now, the further south you get in this area, south of Ridgeland Avenue, south of Sauk Trail, this gets wide open, people, and you're going to be dealing with a vehicle that's going to be at a very high speed. The officers now are about a good quarter mile behind them. So we're traveling southbound on Ridgeland Avenue. We just crossed Sauk Trail Road. Yes,
Mike,
I'm listening.
It looks like there's only one person in that vehicle. Can you tell if there's anybody else inside that vehicle?
The way they have described this in the search, there is one person. You can see the driver's side window is actually shot out. One person who stole this vehicle that they're searching for. So from what they've described, and again, this is just from the scanner traffic, what's called the ISPERN, Illinois State Police Emergency Response Network, they've only described one person, the driver, the suspect that they are looking for that stole this vehicle that is now southbound on Ridgeland. We're coming up on another interchange here pretty soon, and I-57 is very, very close to this. We're about a half a mile west 57, so there's a chance that this vehicle could take it to the expressway. They continue, though, south on I-57, well south of Sauk Trail Road. So we're going to be heading down to the Bradley-Bourbonnais area pretty soon.
I know that you're on a really, really close shot there, and you're talking about the police that are behind them. Can we look at a little bit wider shot so that we can get, a better perspective of that? That would be great, and maybe also see what's in front of that vehicle, which it looks like no one, luckily. as he's making his chase.
We don't want to lose the vehicle, and the police, unfortunately, they've been trying to chase this vehicle. It's really picked up speed here, southbound on Ridgeland, heading towards I-57. And as we look out the window, there really aren't any police within about a good half a mile of this vehicle. They're communicating with each other.
How fast do you think that guy's going, Mike?
Based on how fast we're going right now, I would say about 80 to 90 miles an hour. There's another interchange here near the Crete-Moni Road and I-57. He's about to come up. There's a semi in front of this. Again, caution for people who are watching here. This can result in an accident pretty quickly. Now he crosses Crete-Moni Road, tried to turn. Oh, and there's the accident. All right, so here's the accident. I believe we're at Crete-Moni Road. The vehicle involved in the accident. Now you've got the person who was in the vehicle. This is the suspect that they were looking for,
and his hands
heading
on his belt
eastbound
there, so we be
towards
with the
I-57.
We got to be careful with the camera shot here because, okay, he's taking his sweatshirt off, running through a field. We
trying to get the sweatshirt up.
That car crashed and tried to make the turn there at the intersection. It looked like the one person who was in that car bailed and is now running.
I think you made a really good point, Stefan, here. He keeps on holding on to something right around his waist. We're not sure what that is. And Mike, how far are police from this guy right here?
The police are coming in right now. The police are coming in right now. We don't want to lose the shot of this person, and hopefully now it's into basically you can see a field with a lot of trees. We are near the expressway. We're just west of I-57 here by Crete-Moni Road. We're not sure if this person is injured. Now it looks like he may be exhausted, and the suspect may have been injured, and person on the ground. It looks like the pursuit has come to an end here.
Wow.
Again, we've got state troopers, and we got a lot of folks. This started in the Country Club Hills area and has come to an end here. We're near Crete-Moni Road. We are just west of I-57. This pursuit has come to an end. And again, another dangerous situation. We saw this on the west side last year. No accidents involved, fortunately, and no serious injuries as the arrest is made here on Crete-Moni Road. We are just west of I-57.
Mike, we really appreciate you staying on this. This has been just remarkable to watch happen live here on television. If you could just recap one more time before we go to break here exactly where this started and how it ended here.
Sounds like it started just west of I-57 near Volmer Road. We were covering an accident there, and again, we heard that ISPERN alert that they put out to all of the local officers here to pursue that vehicle. Willow is located about a half a mile west of 57 in Volmer. They said the car was driving erratically. They were looking for a suspect who had stole the vehicle in a black Chevy. They picked up that vehicle driving, and then once that vehicle got south on Ridgeland, hit about 80, 90 miles an hour, heading all the way south from the area of about 183rd, must have gone a good 5 miles down here near the Crete-Moni area, tried to go left to get onto I-57, and fortunately that vehicle involved in an accident, and even though the person is still walking, came very close to getting to I-57, ended here in the field. Police were able to get the suspect in custody. Crete-Moni Road, we are just west of Interstate 57.
That was just an incredible moment there. It was really great to see at the end how he gave up and he got on the ground so police could come in and arrest him.
It looked like they were so far behind. Yeah. The concern was whether or not officers were going to be there close enough to make that arrest. But you can see officers with the Madison Police Department surrounding that wooded area right there, that area of trees, which we saw the person from the car, that black Monte Carlo, trying to make that left turn at the intersection. And what you estimated, Mike, around 80 miles an hour, clearly didn't make it. The car went right off the side of the road and into a ditch.
No, I'm guessing since I-57 was so close, maybe that was the plan. And once that car would have gotten south on I-57, it could have been really dangerous. And again, we saw it try to make that left turn from Ridgeland to go to Crete-Moni, possibly to I-57, and going at that high rate of speed, at least 80, 90 miles an hour. Wasn't able to do that. The accident ensued, went into the field, and that's when the person they were chasing decided to get out of that vehicle, run through the field, may have been injured from the accident, and basically just ran out of breath. Fortunately, gave himself up, and nobody else was seriously injured in a situation that could have been very
This is after a high-speed chase through the northeast Harris County area. Live pictures here, and there is the officer just about rear-ending him there. His hands are up. He's given up. He knows it's time, and there he goes to the ground with police officers on his back, guns drawn. And this thing has come to a quick end, a very quick end.
Andy Bass is in Sky HD now. Andy, what can you tell us? You've been following this for a while.
Yeah, we have, guys, and yeah, as you guys just mentioned, he just cracked up into another side street car that was coming northbound on that street. Not too sure exactly what happened there. Then he took off running eastbound towards the Beltway, and obviously you just saw the aftermath of it. We were, covering him for like the last 5 minutes in the northeast quadrant of Beltway 8 and I-10, and that's basically where we caught up with him. Not too sure exactly what he was running for, but they've been trying to track this guy for at least the last 30 minutes. They did have a tracker in that vehicle that he did crack up in, that silver pickup truck did have a tracker in it. They tracked him to a house, and then when we arrived on scene, that's when he took off running through this subdivision here. I'll give you a little bit of perspective. We're just east of Beltway 8 and just north of I-10. And I'm actually being asked to move to go back to the impact of there, so I'm going to peel off this and just go back to the impact of the crash of where it happened, and I'm just going to go back a little bit, and there's the crack. There's the car at the bottom of your screen. That's the one that he hit, and there's the pickup truck, and I believe that the passenger was thrown from that vehicle. I'm going to just keep a wide look because I'm not too sure exactly what is happening down there, but you can see one person is on the ground, and we got... They pulled him out of there, according to Mike, my pilot. They pulled him out of that vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can see pretty much all the police activity down there as well. That Lincoln Continental, that white Lincoln Continental at the top of your screen, was the other vehicle that was involved in this accident scene. He was traveling, the pickup truck was traveling eastbound along that little side street. The Continental was traveling northbound along the main street. Still trying to get those streets paired out for you guys. But yeah, I believe the passenger was ejected from that vehicle while officers were in pursuit for him, and it was a massive crash, I can tell you, from Sky Eye.
Yeah, wow, we missed that crash, but I know you were up there in Sky Eye. I know you were looking at it at the time. That crash, of course, he couldn't use the vehicle anymore. Let's hope that passenger of that vehicle, or that he was in the other vehicle that was hit, right? He wasn't a passenger. He was the person driving?
It was no. I believe the person that's driving was the one that took off. I believe the passenger of the pickup truck was thrown from there. As far as I know, it was very hard. It happened really quickly. He might have been dragged out of there by the officers. Not too sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. So the actual driver, the suspect, of course, that was the one who was running down the street, and we saw that. We saw him being captured and now handcuffs on and in the back of a squad car. But what a chase this was! I mean, overall they were tracking him, but it didn't last actually the chase that long, right?
No, not. I mean, they had another car, believe it or not, at I-10 in the belt, and they pulled the driver out of that one, but it was the wrong driver. The plate did not match. Then they got the tracker of this vehicle, of this pickup truck, and they tracked him to the northeast coordinate, or basically of I-10 and Beltway 8 East. And that's when they picked him up in this neighborhood, and then they saw him running, and that's when we joined the chase, Art. And when we got on it, obviously he was just going through this neighborhood right here below us. He was, going pretty fast. I'd say anywhere between 40 to 50 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden, when he was heading eastbound on this little side street, and that Continental was heading northbound on the main street, and that's when basically the crash happened. Did see the driver take off on there. He ran about 4 blocks east on that little side street, and then you saw the rest of it.
And just a horrific crash, and we will have a video of some of that chase coming up in just a few minutes. Andy Bass is over that. In fact, here's that video there. This is just moments before that terrible crash as that person T-boned that suspect, then running off down one of the side streets. And after that crash, he running from that pickup truck, and you will be able to see Houston police, or just police in general, and you see the little dog there running behind him first, and then you'll see a police car coming up on another side street, coming back, almost running into that suspect, stopping just before then. I believe he even lost his shoe there. He held his hands up, and then he was subdued and arrested by police. Boy, and your heart certainly goes out to the driver of the other vehicle involved in this, the driver, the passenger. This is just horrific.
Yeah, just awful to see this type of thing take place. And you're looking again at the crash site. That, again, we're going to look at the crash actually when it happened. This is the pickup truck that's running, and that was the hit. And then we're breaking away from that because people were thrown from the vehicle as a result of that crash. And there's the suspect on the run. This is the one police were chasing in that pickup truck. And watch there's the little white dog chasing him. And then you have the officer in the squad car just really trying to scare him. And that's the protocol for this type of thing. You run up to him like that and you kind of scare the guy, and he kind of gives up and realizes, you know what, it's done. I'm not going to be able to outrun these guys. There he goes to the ground. He's guns drawn, of course, immediately cuffed. He's now placed behind a vehicle in the squad car. But now look at the other officer. He's taking guard here with his gun drawn and sort of walking around the area, making sure that nobody else gets involved in this. But we wonder what he's running for.
Yeah.
Clearly, police were after him for a certain reason, and we're going to find out much more about that this afternoon, and then bringing it to you on Eyewitness News 4, 5, and 6.
And we want to go back to Andy Bass. Andy, you know, Art mentioned something that we all are wondering right now. We don't know at this point, right, Andy, why this suspect was running from police in the first place.
No, not at all. That detail's still trying to be sorted out in the newsroom, guys, but I do have some more information. We're at the corner. The intersection that they cracked up is at Nancy Rose and Gainesville, and the suspect was running eastbound on Gainesville, and that's when the HPD officers got him. So in the neighborhood around Beltway 8 and I-10, Nancy Rose and Gainesville is where this cracked up. But the news desk is still trying to answer your question, the news desk is still trying to figure out exactly why this guy was running, but they did tag him, and that's when they located him inside this development, inside this neighborhood, and obviously he knew he was going to get arrested.
Now, Andy, I want to explain to some folks here of when we show the crash, we're showing the impact, but we're not showing the continuation of that crash. And there are reasons for that. You and Sky Eye, you were able to see, now there's a reason here you're only going to see a portion of that crash, at least the impact. From that crash, after that, the passenger in the other vehicle that was hit, he was thrown or she was thrown from that vehicle. Is that correct?
I believe so, Art. I mean, it happened so quickly, and obviously once the suspect started to run down eastbound Gainesville,
look at that. That is a hard hit, and you see that. And when we froze that video there, we're looking at that video, Andy, and we've looked at it a couple of times. But on impact, wow, that is a hard hit.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to believe that they were traveling at least, you know, the pickup truck was traveling at least 50 miles an hour. The other one probably doing 30, 25 miles an hour inside the neighborhood. All right, and yeah, that crash, I mean, immediately the heart just sank for the person in the Continental. And, you know, don't know if that suspect in the passenger vehicle of the pickup truck was pulled out by HPD or if he was thrown from there. You know, I was still trying to figure that one out. Like I said, playing it back in my mind over the last 5 minutes, it just happened so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and Andy, you and I and Art, we've seen so many of these chases that end this way, and it's certainly your heart just goes out to the person involved, the person who has no idea what's happening. They had no idea that a chase was going on, and a high-speed chase on these small streets in a neighborhood. Just your heart goes out to that person.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right,
covering cases.
Yeah, Andy, my apologies for interrupting. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, but we will have continuing coverage on this. We're streaming this on abc13.com. Just log it on there. You can watch the video there. We will have replays, of course, of that impact of that crash, and then the suspect on the run trying to create a foot chase, but eventually caught. And there again, the crash scene. We're going to have much more on Eyewitness News at 4, 5, and 6, and online, abc13.com. Thanks for joining us.
The names of the suspects have not been released. Neither is the name of that innocent driver. All three, again, non-life-threatening injuries. The two suspects will be charged with evading arrest and aggravated robbery. In Cloverleaf, Deborah Wrigley, 13 Eyewitness News.